smugglers from like out of the country.
No,
obviously they're not going to name the children.
Yeah,
but
my point is that human trafficking is happening in the United States, but it's happening white, black, brown, yellow, red, anything, you name it, it's happening. The hardest part in the United States for law enforcement to intervene on is on the reservation trafficking. So if there's individuals that don't want to be involved in trafficking, law enforcement really can't intervene on reservation trafficking. So, but every single
the feds can.
How do most of the girls or kids? Where do most of them come from in the U.S. and what's like the method? Like I know like the catfishing online, pretending to be like a good-looking 6-year-old boy. Hey, meet me at this place, and I get kidnapped. But like, I'm just shocked about the numbers here, and I'm wondering how they get into this ring. Like, what's the number one method?
The number one is foster care and runaways. But you are right, the internet is assisting in that for individuals that aren't identified in the foster care system or runaways, but foster care and runaways are the highest level for the United States, along with generational and familial trafficking.
Roblox, right? Aren't they getting a lot of them off Roblox right now?
Oh yeah, Roblox is bad. Roblox has been bad for a very long time, but the biggest one is Snapchat for apps, and Discord is pretty bad too.
You think it's only specific to California being lenient or almost condoning this type of behavior, or is it across the majority of the states in America?
Again, I'm not trying to drive a wedge between red and blue, but what we've seen historically is that the states that are more lenient on crimes like this tend to be more liberal cities and states. And so I actually moved to Florida from Minnesota, and they had the same policy in place where you could, if a child could get to Minnesota, the state would take custody, and then they could perform the transition surgery without the parent's approval or guardian approval, because the state took temporary authority of the child, and then they'd send the child back on their way back to their parents after they were done. But Minnesota is bad as well. There's a lot of states that don't have the proper laws in place to protect children.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate that we kind of have created a whole society that has been like enabling this in a way by, first of all, promoting. There's some people, who are, supporting like women becoming sex workers, first of all. So that's not a great thing. We have people who are trying to euphemize the word pedophiles by calling them, minor attracted people. There are adults who like to dress up in bras and thongs and shit in front of kids and read them books. And then, people who want to write books to little kids, telling them that jerking off at 8 years old is totally fine. So there's a whole culture that is kind of trying to make people numb to this and trying to make it seem normal. Not to mention the whole justice system that does not prosecute these people how they should be prosecuted, which I personally think if there's like DNA proof and video proof, that you should get the capital punishment. But it's definitely a lot of shit going on.
Hey, Matt, you need to take care of this. The way he's talking to women, dude, throw him out, dude. This is just inappropriate.
That mobile crash out, man.
No, he shouldn't be allowed to talk to women like he's talking to women in the chat. Matt, I'm going to look at you differently if you don't kick him out. It's just disgusting. He should not be able to talk to women that way. Especially on some non-cuck profile.
No, I know he's talking about Momo.
Yeah, Joe, like, who are you talking about?
He's talking
about Matt, take care of business.
Yeah, we need to get rid of the minor attracted persons term. That's a way to like soften the blow. really it is a pedophile. It is a child predator, and we need to call it what it is. And we need to protect children at all costs. Every single child matters. So when we pass that the grooming law, the anti-grooming law in Florida, we actually had Gays Against Groomers. We brought them on board because we wanted the LGBTQ community to not think that this was going after them, but it was really to protect children.
Hang on, Allie. Matt and Beaver, I'm going to keep asking you to do this until you do what needs to be done as a man. You don't let what he's saying about women stand. Throw him out.
I'll just do a warning. I'll tell him to stop, or yeah, we'll go from there.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Allie. I apologize to interrupt your intelligence.
No worries. Yeah, we just need to not be afraid of labels. We need to not be afraid of being called names, because really at the end of the day, no one's going to protect our children like we do. And so we just need to be staunch advocates for children. It really doesn't matter what kind of child, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, doesn't matter. Even immigration status at this point, when you're talking about protecting children from adults preying on them, that's where we need to be that unifying force. When I testified a month ago, it's really sad because the Democratic congressmen and women had an opportunity to unite under the issue of protecting children and finding these missing children. And what was a 3-hour hearing ended up being 7 hours because they just stonewalled and distracted and wanted to talk about Epstein. And, great, talk about Epstein, have a separate hearing, but this hearing was on the missing children. And so if you can't unite under one common focal point of protecting children and finding missing children, I don't know what else is going to unite us.
I just want to say, you gotta be a real demon to be derailing the room. Wow, Allie is
I know, dude. It's so bad. Matt and Beaver, I don't know why you're putting up with it, dude.
I'm all ears right now listening to Allie.
What Allie's saying is literally a blessing, and we have to deal with this demonic freak in the chat.
Yeah, there's no way that my soul could allow me to derail a room of this stature with this subject matter, because this is someone straight from the source. And I can read about it, I can watch the films on it, but I've never been in proximity to someone that's actually doing the work on it. So I'm all ears. Thank you, Allie.
No, thank you guys for asking good questions. I really appreciate it. I know it's a heavy subject, so, depending on what time zone you're in, some people they can't stomach the conversation, but I appreciate you guys asking good questions.
Ellie, I have a question for you. So, as much as I have a lot of negative things to say about Islam and Islamic countries, and how are they able to accomplish this? Like pedophilia and women raping and all that is like almost zero in most of the Middle East countries, like Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia. You take any country, right? But so if they were able to accomplish that, like, is this something to do with law and order, or is it something to do with religion, or is it something to do with education? Like, where do you think the biggest fix to this problem comes, and like how do we make that part of the society standards?
That's a really good question. It's a really tough question because one of the tenets of Islam is that they have law built in and embedded within their religion. And so it's challenging because it's not compatible with the Constitution. It's not compatible with the laws that we have in place. And so without being able to separate out and say, okay, you must adhere to the Constitution, you must adhere to our laws, it's really hard for people to separate that. I know that there are people that practice Islam that aren't raping children and aren't raping women, but there are things
that they're going to do that.
One is, it is it's part of the religion in a way, and they have extreme religious moral standards when it comes to these kind of things. But also the other thing is, if you look at it from a law and order perspective, I mean that calls for public execution, or to be beheaded in public on the streets or such.
Yeah, but the problem with Islam is that, first of all, I don't even want to go down this road, but
I don't know. I mean, no.
Well, hold on, hold on a second.
I'm just
yes, I know. They lay down the rule of law very harshly. Sharia law does. I agree 100%. Now, however, do you know who you have to, in order to be the best Muslim? Do you know you have to?
Hang on a second. That Momo is Edmund. So that means that this room is being recorded?
No, I was talking about Mojo.
Mojo is Roger. Or not Roger. So basically, Roger became back on Mojo. Mojo, and then so Roger ended up deleting his account, and then then Mojo, I guess, is John Kitover, whatever the fuck he calls himself now.
That's Edmund down there.
Yeah,
Matt, why are you okay with this?
Well, he's recording anyways. At this point, who cares,
They can
But
come in,
anyways, the difference. Hold on.
Hell out of women, dude.
It's not Momo. I'm talking about Mojo, Stephen.
Joe, I'm talking about Momo. Listen what I'm saying.
Momo, we know who they are. Just don't worry about it. Just ignore it. If they become a problem going forward, I'll take care of it. Bear, don't worry about it.
They are a problem, dude.
No, they're not. Not that I told them to stop it. No.
I'll just say this. Okay, the difference between we can look at the other two Abrahamic religions. I think it's obnoxious we even have to include them in the Abrahamic religions. But with that being said, living your life as the Prophet Muhammad is he was the perfect man, and you should live your life like him. Now, he was a warlord. He was a pedophile. He did horrible shit, and to try to sit here and say like, oh, but they're very law and order. Amazing. So you want to have law and order on the side of protecting pedophiles and warlords? What the fuck is this bullshit?
All right,
I don't need this.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I pinged in a whole bunch of people into this room for a good conversation with Allie. If the hosts are literally okay with this psychopath in the chat, then I would encourage all the people to leave. This is wrong, dude. This is wrong.
Just kick the goofy out, man. Somebody put in the chat, freedom of speech equals women's harassment. This is
apparently
crazy. This is crazy.
I have no idea what's going on here. You guys know I don't read the fucking chat when I'm in rooms.
Yeah, I don't either. I just looked at it, and that's the first comment I see.
All right, so you want me to remove Momo? Is that what the request is?
He gotta go. Or what did Momo do?
The go-go?
What Momo do?
Don't stop the conversation. Let me, I guess, I don't know. Momo,
Have we heard from Callie? If Momo can't come up here and explain himself, then he gotta go.
Thanks, Allie, for your story, for your work.
Oh, thank you, Callie. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy work, obviously, but I have 2 young kids. They're in elementary school, so it is tough to make sure that you don't bring that home to them. But really, at the end of the day, it's really important, and people need to know, and they need to become aware of it. when people think it's a partisan issue, I mean, yeah, the borders under the prior administration really pointed to that because our taxpayer dollars paid for it. And we've spoken with cartel members that knew that our taxpayer dollars were paying for us to transport kids anywhere that they wanted. And so they used our taxpayer dollars to pay for the transportation of these kids wherever the cartels wanted them to go. And so they exploited our kindness. And I guess not even kindness. It's not our choice to pay taxes, but our taxes were used to do this.
We should get back on the main topic. I think on silence. Do you have that clip queued up at all that I was asking about?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Yeah, let's because we're just going to talk about exactly what Trump said today, if people have issues with that, and what have you.
Okay, here we go. Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it.
Amazing.
Well,
I don't seem so controversial, but yeah.
There's a lot of pearl clutching for people. He's pretty much saying that people who are willing to kill kids and, you know, do all this shit like traffic, they're not fixable. They're irredeemable. So I don't know why people are offended by this.
I agree. Well, because you have a bunch of. So what we had was weird in this room is the black. It was mostly black men, and there was, like, I believe, one black woman. That and they were all, like, basically on the side of what Trump was saying, and he's talking about hardened criminals. He's talking, and literally he was referring to the hardcore criminals. If you look in the state prisons, whatever, you get people of all colors and ethnicities that are hardcore criminals that have, like, literally since they were kids, all throughout their fucking life, they commit crimes. And he's talking about, like, the worst types of crimes. Like, he mentioned slitting a throat, not feeling bad the next day. These people do exist. Do I think you rehabilitate people like that? Not really. And for some reason, it's like, oh, yeah, he's saying, like, you know, the poor or the blacks are. No, he's talking about hardcore criminals.
We all know that lefties can't just repeat what he says. They have to infer things and make up shit because they're just deranged people.
Just really wild because, like, living in states where there's a white majority, you know, not. I think actually I don't know if my state is, but yeah, I think it's still a white majority. But I mean, talking about other states like Montana, Alaska, Maine, all over, and like when people commit, like when people do things like stick a gun in your face and try to relieve you of your property, they do any of this shit. Like, they get really hard time in comparison to what you would get in, you know, many of these states. Or even places that aren't states, like the District of Columbia, where I was born. I just find it to be, like, silly and like, oh, you're just trying to go hard on the niggas. No, like, dude, white people are not given a fucking. They get the book thrown at them, and that's that. In these white majority states, where it's somewhat peaceful, and they might.
Did you say they get the book thrown at them? When was the last time you read a book?
That might be a little bit extreme. Yeah, you.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. If you look at states like Idaho, Montana, Alaska, Maine.
Pepe, you're just
like,
repeating yourselves. You're not listening. All you do is say the same thing every single
When you
night.
do this fucking crime, like you get way more time, and like some of my brother's friends were thrown in prison in Montana.
Pepe, you
And
just
I was
say
just
the
like,
same
holy
thing every
shit, he got
single
12
night.
years for that? Whoa, dude. Like, they don't fuck around. And, like, Montana's prisons are, Montana's a mostly white state. And I don't know. It's just like they think that somehow, it's a bunch of black people and they just want to subjugate them, keep them down. White people do not tolerate this behavior amongst themselves. And it's just like, then once they tried to have like a universal standard where it includes black people, it's just like, oh my God, it's racism. It's horrible. It's why do black people want to play victim and allow themselves to be continually victimized by the most rotten pieces of shit in their community? That is like the real question you need to ask.
So, I ain't got no problem with what Trump said, right? None whatsoever. And far as not tolerating it, white people not tolerating it, Pepper, we just had a 30-minute discussion about what we are tolerating in America.
Pepe is a total moron who lives to talk.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know what? I caught while Trump was campaigning, I caught many sound bites. But one sound bite where I was like, okay, he has my vote. He said, we're going to go after the cartels. And then after that, we're going to go to the inner cities because they're real bad. And we're going to clean them up. He says they're real bad. And me being an African American and me understanding the psyche of some of the brothers or whatever that have gone astray, it's gotten real bad, and it's gotten to the point of no return. Can you heal one? Can you heal a few of them? Yeah, you can heal a few of them. But what I know about studying psychology and trauma and the type of healing that one would need and the type of attention one would need, these brothers are gone. You listen to the music, you listen to the mentalities to take a life like it's nothing, to take a life like it's GTA or a video game. And you watch some of these, a lot of people come over from Europe to do interviews to the different gangs or whatever. And they're like, man, this started a long time in the 80s and 90s where somebody took my uncle's life, and we'll never forgive them. It's always going to be bloodshed, and it's going to be bloodshed even for our future children. It's always going to be a war. So when he said that, and I'm looking at my kids, and I want them to be safe, and I'm like, yeah, he has my vote. And he stood by his promise. And he's going to go to these inner cities and clean them up so that we can walk around and people can go eat in Chicago, and kids don't have to worry about bullets flying through the window and taking an innocent life. And so I'm all for it.
I'm all for it as well. And yeah, like do whatever you got to do to that small, minute percentage that's carrying on like they're carrying on. Yeah, but I wouldn't say Trump has taken care of the problem. We haven't seen that yet. I will say he's addressed, like, publicly addressing it, but as far as taking care of it, I want to see it.
Yeah, he hasn't taken care of it. And I would say, like, you can look at countries like Corsica, for example, which, I've trolled people for years that I'm Corsican. That's where I find it kind of funny. Is like I was leaving JV shit, but I didn't like make it a central part of my identity. I just thought it was funny because of some historical things that they did. Before I came on this app, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like half Corsican or something. Shit, I'm not half Corsican, but. With that being said, the Corsicans, they are I wouldn't say a crime-ridden shithole, but they're a group of people in France that have a lot of issues, and people lost a substantial amount of their population. I forget the percentage. It's well into the double digits, like where they had blood feuds, where they just continually killed each other, and it is even still. I don't know if it's still like that today, but where if somebody kills a family member, it is you're looked at as very weak and in a way immoral if you're not going to atone for that act that was committed against your family by not killing the person who did it, and even if it involves like killing some of their family members. And so it's like I do think that if you look today, would it be better if they did not have that type of outlook on life? Yeah, like obviously. But my first job out of college, working as a case manager with seriously mentally ill people, like in the Native American reservations, that was one of the things that was kind of a mind fuck. Like you go and see, I would visit them, and this was back in before 2010. I'll just say that, and they're getting a lot more money now. They were starting to get a lot of money at that time because of the casinos they were opening and the resorts that they've since opened. They're doing a lot better, but the intergenerational dysfunction was like out of control. Like this reservation before they had casinos and stuff was dirt fucking poor, absolutely dirt poor. Then you had the per cap checks that came every 4 months or every 3 months, excuse me. And then you would see like an explosion of domestic violence, just a lot of criminal behavior. The money actually caused a lot of the problems. And so with and of course their own sovereign nation, they would put people on forced payees. They would give them forced payees almost immedately, so that they could not go out and do their benders on drugs and do whatever. And they basically ended up having a lot of people that were hired to, and I wasn't one of them. I just, I worked in the county, but not up for the reservation. They ended up, getting a lot of substance abuse treatment, a lot of shit to cure them. But one of the things I remember asking myself, and I was, I remember at the time, it's like, dude, I wish I was one. And to my dad, he was like a federal judge. And I was just like, dude, I wish I was one of them. I can get in whatever fucking college I want. I can do whatever. My dad, he's like a conservative guy. He's not like far right, far left, whatever. He's like, no, you would just be drinking beer and being a piece of shit just like one of them. And, I kind of had to think about it. And he's probably correct. I mean, if I'm being honest. And and I think still to this day, one of the hardest things to do is how do you break that cycle? Where like literally your parents were drug addicted to alcohol, criminal, they were neglectful. That is your normal. How do you change that overnight without a very drastic change? Now this so happens to be a small reservation where they are literally connected to a very wealthy suburb of Phoenix, and it's a tourist destination. And okay, they can fix it somewhat, and they're doing better from what I've heard. You know, I haven't been in that field like for almost 20 years, and
The
I
answer
think
to your
people.
question, yeah, the answer to your question is faith in Jesus Christ. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that's ultimately what it is. But look, I want to go back to what They said about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has not finished the job yet, but the job does need us to help finish the job. Donald Trump is showing what true leadership is like in this country. He's inspired me only more to dig in deeper and build my business bigger and stronger than ever before. That's why I don't come around this app very often, because I'm trying to make America great again. It's time to be part of the solution. Donald Trump ain't going to be able to come in and solve all of our country's problems. If you're not trying to help yourself, help your family, help your friends, make this country better, it's not going to help Trump finish the job. So we need to help finish the job. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. We got a guy that's looking out for our back. He's trying to keep the drugs off the streets. He's trying to clean up the crime, get the homeless people some help. It's not all going to be, a final situation where only Trump can solve it and his actions can solve it. It's going to take all of us. We can have a better society, but there's over 300 million people here. We got to start working at it together.
Everyone hates Monica because she too is a moron.
Yeah, we just gotta
She
go
pretends to be an educator, but she's never read a book.
You know what I mean? Like a race war. Just get things out the way.
What's that going to solve?
How did he turn this into a race issue? Holy shit.
But what's a race war actually going to solve?
I mean, we're about to head to a race war, though. I know y'all.
We're really not, bro.
That's what's really about to happen, though. I mean,
realistically, it's not going to happen, right?
Joe, this guy's not very smart. So.
But no, a race war won't ever happen. I can promise you that.
If there was ever going to be any real war, I mean, I would say, in like next few years, which I don't think is going to happen, it would be predominantly white on white, and it would be powerful and wealthy people that are white on both sides that would be basically fueling it and funding it. So,
good point. It's a class war, Fred. It'd be a class war.
And that's what I'm seeing, like under Trump, as black people become wealthier, as we come to understand where we are in this nation and our place in it, and all the liberties and the benefits, and we look around and we see people watching us. I'm seeing a lot of black and white unity, actually people coming together because on the same tenements where they want safe neighborhoods. They're tired of the senseless crime. They're tired of just people dying in the neighborhoods. And like I said, I'm seeing blacks and whites, especially the black men and the white men, come together under Trump. And I think that's the future of the country. I think so.
I missed the last few minutes, but there's no. Joe, did you say there's no way you could ever see under any condition or circumstance that a race war would happen?
Yeah,
because
under no condition will there ever be a race war.
What about what about when resources are like? It's basically a fight for resources. Do you not see it? Part of me thinks it would end up like a prison. They segregate based on prison, or do you really think the class would stick together?
I mean,
Democrats have their way, there would be a race war and a class war, but they're losing so much work. People are tired of this bullshit.
So, I mean, let's look at what we were. Would you consider Democrats burning down Democrat neighborhoods in Democrat cities a war? Right? So, like, what we've seen already is this pattern where elites, like what they did with the BLM protests that were turned into riots, was agitators with Democrat protesters burning down Democrat neighborhoods
in Democrat cities. So when I think of a war, I think of it as there being actual opposition. So like Democrat versus Republican, or white versus black, right? Or even rich versus poor. But what we've seen so far is just the same groups burning their own neighborhoods down.
Well, bro, why
Or
you act
people that
like
come into
there
those.
ain't no violence in the red states? Like,
No, we do. We have blue cities,
y'all
bro.
doing the same shit, bro.
No, we have
Like,
blue
it's not just
cities.
Democrats.
No, in the red states they lock you up. No, the red states lock you the fuck up.
No, but we
they don't.
We have crime in the red states, but we have blue cities. We have New Orleans, one of the highest murder rates. It's been Democrat for 130 years. The city police are ran by Democrats. The county and in New Orleans' parish are ran by Democrats. So what I would see is the Democrats eating themselves first.
Let me give you this stat, man. Let me give you this stat that I've been saving. So it says 13 of the top 20 cities that lead in homicide are governed by Republicans.
That's not true. No, it's not true. Name the mayor.
Yeah, in the South. In the South, what it says is. No, what he's saying is somewhat true.
No, it's not true. Okay, so name the mayors. Let's ask him, Mike.
Well, no.
Name the mayors.
No. He said governed. No, but
The cities aren't governed by the states. Cities
are red or Republicans.
Okay, but I know governors don't.
Yeah, sure. But he said governed. In other words, the governors they're a Republican. However, if you look in the South, exactly. No, that's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make. If we were to look at, we can look at St. Louis in Missouri. We can look at New Orleans.
Democrats.
Yes, exactly, and that's another one. These are quote unquote red states, but they have a large black population, basically that with Democrat mayors and chiefs of police, and they're crime-ridden shitholes.
Yeah. Just because Birmingham and New Orleans are in red states, they are blue cities. They're no differently governed by states like, or like cities like Chicago in a blue city, or cities like New York City in a blue state with a blue city. Do you see the connection here? Is that the cities have control over their own city, Mike?
Yeah, I get it. I don't agree with the stat he gave.
Yeah, I ain't make it up, bro. That ain't a stat I just pulled out my ass.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
To say that crime is high in Republican states because of Republicans is making the assumption that 100% of the people in those states are Republicans. That's the point that you're trying to make, but failing at.
No, I'm just saying that it's the same amount of crime in red states like it is in blue states. I'll just trying to make it picture to picture like blue states are just savages and we just kill everybody. I mean, the same shit as in red states.
We're talking about Democrats are dangerous people. Because even if you're talking about a place like Memphis, Tennessee, that is a red state, Memphis is still the deadliest place, one of the deadliest places in America that is a hard blue district. There are bright blue spots in red states. And if you look at Tennessee and you look at the crime in Tennessee, it's not Republicans committing the crimes, it's the Democrats in Memphis that are committing the crime. So the point that you're trying to make does not make any sense. You're trying to say that.
No, I'm trying to say it's not even political. You guys want to link everything. Y'all want to link that shit to killing people. Everything's not political. Sometimes it's just
when 29 of the 30 deadliest places in America are Democrat run, it's literally political. That's the definition of political.
I mean, let's look at even Maryland, where they have some of the strictest gun laws, but yet you still have some of the deadliest cities like Baltimore in Maryland. Why is that?
So Mike, if 29 of the 30 deadliest places in America are Democrat run, you don't think that's political in your brain?
I mean, no, I think it's systematic. To be honest, I don't think it's political. I think it's systematic.
So you're a Democrat bootlicker.
No, I'm not
You're
a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't even vote. I told you. But I think it's democratic. It's systemic racism. I mean, that's what I honestly think.
So you don't see any correlation?
No, it's definitely some type of correlation, but I wouldn't 100% just say it's because of Democrats. Like, no. I
So
mean, I think that's just kind of not fair.
95% of the deadliest cities in America are Democrat run, but there's no correlation in your brain. You
Well,
can't
let me ask you a question. You know what? I'm just going to skip through this bullshit because I find it very annoying. Can you show me whether it is a decolonized part of Africa where the crime did not drastically increase? Anywhere. Can you show me anywhere where blacks are left to self-rule, where crime is not super high, and where it is, I don't know, this somehow, I don't know, on their own, they can have this, like, this utopia that can run at the same level as, like, other, even developing countries like Mexico. You don't see that, where blacks have self-rule.
How has crime been in South Africa since blacks have taken over?
Much higher.
Really?
That's a known fact. I don't even know why you're asking that.
I think Othello's one of those people that you can't accuse black people of doing anything wrong.
No, I just asked a question. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to know that answer. You said it's so matter of fact. Now I'm looking up the data.
Look up the data. Where did black people self-govern? Where they do well? Where they do not have crime, problems with standards of living, anything that is not much, I guess, worse off than other developed countries, or at least first world countries.
I don't really subscribe to the racial talking points, but it is fascinating to look at Chicago, and that regardless if you have a white Democrat mayor or a black Democrat mayor, nothing changes with the violence, the level of shootings. And I know there are parts of Chicago that are nice, but like just this weekend, they had 50 shootings. I guess that's down from 100 from 10 years ago. But New Orleans is the same thing. I lived in New Orleans 15 years. 83% registered Democrat, 10% registered independent, maybe 5% of the voting base in New Orleans was registered Republican. So that kind of gives you an idea of what these cities are like in the registration. Regardless if it was a white Democrat mayor or a black Democrat mayor, the plight of the city did not change.
Pepe, do you know anything about Ibrahim Traore?
No.
Okay, check him out. He did a coup of Burkina Faso in 2022. He was a military officer, and he did a coup on a debauched president, and now he's been in power for the past 3 years, and he's really turned that country around. So just check him out when you get a chance. The military leader of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore.
Well, I'll say this. What I want for Africans, I would love to see them to be self-governing, to live in peace, to not be hellhole. Like, I don't live in Africa. Why would I wish anything bad upon Africans? I hope that a competent African ends up, in whatever country it is in Africa, they end up taking power. introducing whatever reforms they need to do, and putting a government in place that makes it so that they can thrive, so that every young African boy and girl get to grow up in peace, that they get a quality education, that they can make they I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but they can build like their fucking Wakanda, like that would be amazing. In fact, if that was something that was built by black people, I'd be like, holy shit, bro, mind blown. I'm sorry, everything I've said about black people, I'm a fucking retard. My apologies. I actually, I believe this out of, okay, but like with me, it's out of pessimism. It's not that I don't want it for black people. It's just like, okay, but I've never seen it from black people.
So you haven't heard of Black Wall Street? You never heard of that? When black people had their own shit, we had everything.
I've heard it, yeah, but the term Wall Street is so exaggerated, though.
How is that exaggerated? Y'all literally burned down.
Black Wall Street meant you basically had a goddamn mini mart with a bunch of fucking stores, and somehow you conflate it to being.
They had banks. They had banks.
Bro, we had everything. We had a legit community, bro. And your people came and burned it down.
I think what I would like to
see us do good. What are you talking about?
Man, I would like to see more Ibrahim Traore's, because what he did was expel the French. And when he did that, he basically said, hands off of our minds. Not M-I-D-N-S, M-I-N-E-S.
Which country was this?
Resources. Burkina Faso. And so I would like to see more of these colonial projects that entered Africa and for their precious resources, and introduced a lot of this strife, and propped up puppet leadership so that they can continue the rape of Africa. I would like to see these colonial projects start to,
Well, sure. So sure. And so amongst the far right, which, I was long a member of, the Georgia Maloney, she pointed this out, like how this liberal, which was, he's considered like center left in at least in Europe, how they subjugate the African people. France is still, I would say, probably the most egregious actor, at least to this day. And I do not fault the Africans for wanting to say, fuck you, we do not need to be under your control, and to, kill whatever people are in your way from having self-autonomy. Like, I'm not against that.
And you have to allow them to go through the adversity of modernization. You know what I mean? And like, you have to, I don't want to put a year on it, but they're going through a lot of what, America went through in 1700s and 1800s. Civil wars and, transference of power, and people like leaving their tribal identities for these new cities that are popping up. And it's just this struggle for this indigenous population. I'm sorry, indigenous population. I need to go to sleep. To accept, these new Western values of modern civilization, in which, neither is better or worse. I don't think, because I think
I don't think that we are. Look, I think, like, especially with a lot of sub-Saharan Africans, some of them can thrive in communities or countries that were built by white people. But for the most part, I do think that they largely are incompatible. I would say with Asians, it's not, and this has nothing to do with like me disliking any of these people. I do think that, like, even if we look at East Asians, I think we're incompatible with them. I do think that if you were to have, like, Japan be half, let's just say within a generation they became, half of the population was of European descent, I think you would get people that are very individualistic, very willing to go against the grain, to question everything, to cause a lot of fucking chaos. And then you're going to get these Japanese people that are just very conformist. They're very cooperative. They're very law-abiding. They're, in a way, they're slightly more intelligent than white people. They're more risk adverse. They're also far more conformist and, like, less willing to break the law. But where white people come in, it's just like part of where we kind of shine is because I do think we think outside of the box. We do have this, like, weird way where the most, and this is going to exclude 99.9% of white people, but the most exceptional and bright amongst us, they end up being kind of revolutionary, and they will cause a lot of change. Whereas I don't know, I almost think that, like, the fastest suicide you could see of Japan would be with white people, because of how I think we are inherently. Whereas other native or other racial or ethnic or religious groups, I think they're rather predictable. But white people, they are kind of like chaos agents in a weird way that are often for the good. But they like, even if we look at wars between each other, who are the most, like, violent and most formidable forces that have to face each other? It's like white on white. Like, Europeans are just, we are just different than other groups of people. And I really think we would be suicide for any Eastern Asian country if we immigrated there in mass.
My thing is, like, they did a study, National Geographic, on the different indigenous people of the world, and they asked them, they were like, are you happy in a tribe, or would you like to move to a modern city? And most of them said, we're fine. And so modernization, how sustainable is it to survive, like, the next 500 years at the rate, at the rate that it's, killing the planet, killing the oceans, killing the forests, for that AI, for those tires for your car, for that iPhone, and you got to go get the cobalt, and you got to go get, for those diamonds those blood diamonds that you bought your wife. I wonder, were the indigenous onto something where they didn't really want the technology? They just wanted to live in a nice balance with nature, for the sake of the planet. Whereas this modern world, even though, we got AC, I can hop on the internet, I can go to and fro in my Tesla. I'm living good. But
to answer your question shortly, very quickly, I would say I think that when you look at West Africans, how they had, they lived literally right near the equator, where you had year-round vegetation, you had animals. Basically, you guys had a lot of food. It's somewhat of a temperate yet somewhat hot climate. But you guys also have very dark skin to shield yourselves from the sun that's going to give you a lot of exposure, or you'll have a lot of exposure to it during most of the year. you guys did not have to plan ahead like Native Americans, particularly Northeast Asians in particular, like the Koreans and the Japanese and the Chinese, and a lot of whites for long cold winters where you had to prepare for them. There was no vegetation for most of the fucking year. You had to literally save shit. That's how you survived. You had to cooperate with others. And I do think that I'm somebody who does believe, I'm somebody that people will call a race realist. I do believe that it's not that quote unquote race, which I find it to be a very generic term, because obviously the traits amongst different Black Africans, they're wildly different, just as like amongst Europeans. So Southern Europeans versus Scandinavians. Scandinavians tend to be a little bit more intelligent on average, and much bigger, much taller, much stronger. They're different than us. The difference between Polynesians versus Southeast Asians, Pacific Islanders are some of the biggest, strongest motherfuckers in the world. They're different. And do I think that, like, even when it comes to like cognitive traits, yeah, there's absolutely, in my opinion, a difference between different groups. And I don't mean this in a weird, in a mean way. But I do not think that the majority of especially West Africans that come here. No, I understand you have the Igbo and you have people from Ghana that are intelligent, and you have people that are just like African American that are also intelligent. Like Thomas Sowell's like way smarter than
everybody.
Like way smarter than myself.
Dumbest shit in the world.
But
Pepe clearly
I don't think
is
traits are
dumb
distributed
motherfucker
evenly between
who hasn't figured out shit in life.
human populations that
is the
evolve in
dumbest
different parts of the
hypnosis
fucking
you could
world.
ever hope not to hear, because
I
it's a total waste of time. I'd rather be listening to any kind of audiobook on the whole planet
I think that
other than fucking Pepe. But only reason I'm recording this is because
people of
I hope his account gets
African
clipped
descent,
and I
especially
can
from
like
West Africa,
live stream it getting clipped, because it did get clipped
only
earlier.
one thing that you guys have
I really
been
want to see
shown to
Pepe
be
have
able to
like an
replicate
emotional breakdown
throughout the
I don't know if
world,
that's,
whether
like,
it's in
fucked
Latin
up to
America,
say, but I want to see him
America,
like have to get like 3 accounts a day.
in Europe, where you guys
And
migrate
because
everywhere, and even in
the
Africa,
fact
the
that he
continent
wants to
itself,
come here and just like have these never-ending conversations
some
with
of the
himself,
violent,
I don't know. It's
some of the most violent.
part of it is the content or the topic, but
and just like
most of it is just the fact that
society
I am
you could ever
recording
live in.
like
that's
a
what
fart
you form.
in the wind.
At least when it comes to
It's going
the
nowhere.
modern world, which Europe is.
I want to say I'm kind of like.
Set that standard.
Is this
you guys
Schadenfreude?
can't live like us.
Is this like taking pleasure in
large
somebody's
scale.
pain?
Let me
Because
ask
he's
you a
so
serious
pathetic.
question. Do you think that has anything
He
to
sounds
do,
like
though,
a
with,
frog. Clearly,
it was
he's
only
like
6 to 7
4'11",
generations ago.
and this
It was
is his big
illegal
moment, to shine.
black
to
folk to
kick
learn to
JB,
read.
to kick this person, to fight that person, to get his place. I came from the Discord extremist rooms that he likes to say, and
I personally don't. I mean,
I don't know. He is one of
when
the
it
most
comes
obnoxious
to-
people on this app
we can
because
look
of the
at
topic.
Christians even
Also, it's
throughout
the same
Europe
topic
and
every
throughout
time. Like,
time,
the thing is, people go into their routines. I
which were
might start
often
going
the
into
Vatican did not
the
want them
national
to know
debt,
how to
the
read.
unfunded debt liabilities, or
I don't think
I
that
might
is the
talk
main
about how all
difference.
communication
I'm
is
just being honest.
hypnosis.
No, I appreciate it. Look,
Yeah,
I
wash,
think
repeat,
it
wash,
does
repeat.
have something to do, at least with the building of wealth and the building
See,
of
I guess the other reason
education
is I wish
over
he was
years and
kicked
periods
from
of
this
time.
app so
Now, I
like I
know,
didn't have to catch
this would
him.
almost sound like I'm a
And then it would
leftist
be
coming
like,
in here.
if there was
arguing
no
for reparations,
content on this
I
app,
think we do have
then
to
I'd be in a
recognize
better
that
place,
there
because
is
then I would have like no
some,
desire to record here, but I'd probably go to X
some
But the
holdback
truth
that
is,
did occur.
if I could read books,
No, I
onto
agree
YouTube,
with that
that's
part,
how I really
but like,
optimize my time.
even if you look at
not talking is
people
very
of Northeast
lazy and
Asian
easy
descent
to
to
do,
this day,
and just recording people
despite
talking
which
is it like basically it fills
economic
the
background they
dopamine,
come
I
from,
think.
where their parents
But
earn
also,
less
I
than
don't really want to
20,000 a
read
year
and
versus
talk all
more,
the time. It's
they
kind of
outperform white
exhausting.
students. They fucking
So just
decimate
sitting
every
here and
other
like
group as
mocking
well.
people and recording them to get like my
In New York
dopamine
City
satisfied,
today,
I guess. You know,
and I was surprised to learn this a couple of
it's
years ago,
not
but more than
really
half of
helping me enough.
the
But
Chinese
I can't
Americans
think
that
of
live in
anything
the United States,
else to do
or not United States, but
because it
in,
could require
New
more
York
work.
City,
And just
they
hitting
are
record in my
below the
screen
poverty level.
is
Yet they still clean
it's
the
very
floor,
nice. But
you know, the
thing is, I
floor
want
with
to record some conflict with Pepe. I want to see Pepe
of
like. I want to
every
see
other
JB
fucking
come
group
in
of
here.
people,
You know,
including
this
whites
isn't-
and blacks.
This isn't hitting enough
And of
down
course,
the
your
formula.
strong
I want to see like
suit has always been math
from
and
a safe distance. I want to see a
spatial
NASCAR accident. I don't know.
recognition
Is that fucked up?
in general.
I don't want to see anybody
I do
physically
think
get hurt,
that
but I do want to continue seeing people's emotions get hurt and
it's
how
not.
they.
If I was to look at like
And
the
how they
religious
gameplay
part
it
of me,
back,
like
how
how I
they
grew up,
game
I
theory
would want
back
to
on
look at
Clubhouse.
all
Like,
of us
this
as
is
God's
Pepe's
children.
third account today. It's
And we're all
called
just as capable as each other.
Unsilenced.
But like, I just cannot look at like obvious
What
facts
I
and
don't
sit here
understand
and
is,
say that like, oh yeah, we're all.
I know Matt.
fucking
I
same.
think Matt
Like,
Cole just like zones out
me,
and goes to
that's-
sleep listening to
How
Pepe
about
because like
collectivism?
he's
So
not
I don't
actually
think it's
talking
just
about
one
anything.
thing. I think it's multiple stuff.
So
Because look at
it's just so
Jamestown. When the
pointless.
founding of Jamestown occurred roughly
We know what the
almost
problem is: invaders.
400 years ago. Over
They
400
gotta
years
go
ago.
find them, capture them,
The
catch
idea
them,
when the
and
Virginia
release.
Company founded Jamestown
Uganda,
was they were going to
Mexico,
give away,
Honduras.
all the people that came to
I
America,
also
all the
like how
Europeans that
people
came to
come on here
America,
and say, "Oh,
were
I
going
got
to
all
work
this stuff I
together.
gotta do. I'm
They were going to collect the food
successful
at the end
attorney,
of
this
the
and that."
harvest.
But yet
They were all
people
going
will
to
say,
share on
"Oh,
the
that's
food.
why I'm not on this
They
app so
had
much." It's like,
massive
okay, you're here
famine,
right now talking
massive
about how
poverty
you're not on here
for a few
talking, but
years
you're on here talking.
until they created an incentive.
So
Once that incentive was
it is
created,
very hard to
where
be
they would
productive.
give out
I
land
would
and
give
people
up
could
being
work for
productive,
that
but
land and pay off that
it's
land
very hard to be
be able
productive
to
because most
advance
smart
their
people
own
are actually
individual
already
economic
successful.
status.
And
Did
they don't wanna
Jamestown
work with you.
become successful?
But unfortunately, as an entrepreneur, you may
Lost
have to
Pepe.
work with some
So,
people who are not
there's a
successful
lot to say
and
that
they're
what
not
has happened
capable
over
of being
the,
successful. You got to
which would
find that
roughly be about
diamond
four to five generations
in the
of
rough
welfare.
where there's an
has not
unsuccessful
benefited
person looking
not
for
just black
success
folk,
who
but white
has the
folk as well, that's
capability
stuck on
and the
welfare.
intelligence to be
And this
successful
collective
because they've got
mentality,
a
this
great,
collectivism does not do what it's intended to do, where it's meant to lift people out of poverty.
with the
In
big
fact, it
opportunities
traps
that
and
could
keeps a
come
lot of
about.
people in poverty. Now, maybe not
But
everyone,
that's the
maybe some
magic.
people it does help and others it does not. But I do know there was multiple generations of poverty in New Orleans, largely due to the collective welfare programs. Just didn't seem like it, helped people get off.
Because you can't just give people money who are not motivated, uneducated, financially irresponsible.
He stirs the
They're just
pot.
going to blow it
He's
on
stirring
stupid
the
shit.
pot.
They're not going to create any businesses or do anything
Him and Adams
smart with
fucked
it.
with me hard.
Spot on. Don't matter if you're black or white, it affects white people as well.
Yes,
Well, that's
it's
cap,
That's
man.
what
You
you
give
call
a
it.
black person
There's
some
no
money
other-
and we start a business. Y'all want to burn that shit down, man.
Yeah, and that's why I can't
Even
really
the
give
Clubhouse is
what
actually on the
Pepe's
stage
saying.
more.
It's like
Clubhouse,
trying
I
to
think.
generalize.
There's really only like
even we talked about those
There's a
stats
couple
earlier.
shows on
We
this
talked
app.
about the black on black homicide rate.
I don't
12,000
know,
people a
nobody.
year.
My YouTube
And
accounts are
we're
not getting
like
any
40
of the
million
growth
people
is
deep.
just terrible.
So we're not
Terrible.
terrible.
I think I'm just totally shut
as
up.
long as there's a black person with a degree,
Problem.
as long as
I
there's a
did
black
just
person
create
with
a
an
new
LLC,
YouTube account
as
today,
long as
and
there's a black person
this
as
Marshall
president.
Rankin video did pretty well.
So to
God,
say
Marshall's such a stupid bitch.
that we're not
Fucking
created
talks
equal,
over
and I
everybody,
think
just
Pippen
runs
was
his
kind of
mouth
trying to
and
go down
just
that fastest route
constantly,
when they
like,
start going into
gets into verbal shouting
and
matches
brain
with somebody, and
sizes
they
and
just
things
talk
like that.
at the same time.
Usually
It's
they
so
try.
pathetic.
There was like some racist scientist scientists long ago that talked about like the size of the sub-Saharan African brain. But I like what Joel said, is that that's so real. You know, you can attribute a lot
This is so stupid.
The state of
All
black
right, this has
folk
been
to,
Pepe Gets Clipped again. If you
poverty.
haven't reported Pepe
We're
yet
talking
today,
about people that got
report his new
full
account,
human
get him clipped
rights.
again. We want to see
In
him
1964.
get deplatformed so much
and
that he
then
like
so
has
people were
a
just thrown out there. And
that he has.
yourself
I don't know what
rise
to
up to
describe
that.
it.
I
How
think
would
we
we
did pretty
describe
well.
it? People are giving me heart
in this
emojis.
society, especially when you look at our spending power
What
and the
would we
trillions
call
per
it?
year.
Maybe
You know,
like
some
Clubhouse
people
type
they
thing,
like
but
to
just
forget
breakdown.
their history, man. Like act like it never happened.
So are there
Because
some
Pepe gets
things
clipped
that need to
again.
be fixed? Yeah, there's some things that need to be fixed on.
I mean, Mike, you just said that when you have money and start businesses that people. First of all, you said y'all burn it down. I'm not a white Democrat. I keep telling you guys I'm not white, but maybe you have brain rot or something. I don't know why you guys keep saying white when I'm not white.
So Joe, hold on. No, he's talking to Mike. So Mike works from a collectivist mentality as well. So Mike can't see anything other than white versus paradigm.
If you address it correctly, nigga.
As your collectivist name, right?
Yes, you have brain rot. And the funny thing is that white Democrats down Tulsa, but they're the same people that black people vote for.
Bro, you know I fuck with white people. You know my lawyer's white. You know my I make money with white people.
Sure, he's not Jewish.
I fuck with white people.
Could he be Jewish?
I don't really care. But I'm just wondering, like, are you gonna tell black people to not vote for the party that burned down Tulsa? Because that seems to be a big issue to you.
I just looked it up. There's no data that showed that it was Democrats.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's absurd.
Who burned down Tulsa?
White people, bro.
White
What do you mean, bro?
White racist,
White
racist,
bro.
right?
We don't even gotta
White
say
racist
racist.
KKK
We
members,
just say
right?
white people, bro. Y'all didn't like to see black people doing good, so y'all burnt down their shit, bro. That's what happened.
Again, you're saying y'all.
He's trying to say that only white Democrats are KKK.
Yeah, but do you realize Joel's not even white, but you make him into this collective group of white. So this builds fatigue and animosity towards black.
You heard him say it 3 times.
Wait a minute, are we pretending
Yeah,
that,
but it creates
that the
fatigue.
Democrats didn't burn down Tulsa? Is that the Lulu talking point, that it wasn't Democrats?
Well, yeah. There's no
show us where it was Democrat.
Yeah. Can you show us?
They were the KKK party at the time.
Can you show us?
Do you not understand this?
Drop a link, man. Drop the link.
Yeah, we like to deal with facts.
Use some resources, man. Drop your link.
Well, I could drop the link, but
Drop the link then, bitch
you
ass
don't know
nigga.
this.
So
You're probably just an idiot.
So the KKK was formed by Democrats. It was formed in Pulaski, Tennessee.
At the time of the Tulsa burning, the KKK was 100% Democrat. But we're just going to pretend that it wasn't, I guess, for some very strange reason.
100% Democrat is nonsense.
The KKK was founded in Indiana, bro.
No, it's from Pulaski,
by what party? Hold on.
Bro, I don't know about none of that political stuff, bro. I don't do the politics, bro.
Then why are you even
keep asking me
commenting
about
on it if you
politics,
don't
bro?
know?
I don't do the politics.
But you just threw
My
out
politics is a crit, nigga. I'm a crit, nigga. So that's my politic, nigga. So stop asking me about Democrats, Republicans.
Your single mom is proud of you, brother.
Like I said, brother,
Imagine
come to
bringing up
Chicago,
the Tulsa
bro.
massacre, the Tulsa burning, but not knowing who committed the Tulsa burning.
So I'm aware that the Democrats created the KKK, but to say that only Democrats participated in the KKK would be insane.
Why?
To a stupid person, yes.
Why do you say? Do you have proof of Republicans being in the KKK?
No, just like he doesn't have proof that it was 100% Democrat.
Okay, you're an idiot.
Am I not correct? Right? Yeah. If you do
At that
time,
time,
100% Democrat,
the KKK was formed by the Democrats.
I agree.
They were publicly open about what party they supported. I mean, they literally were calling themselves Democrats, but I guess they're not Democrats.
So again, You don't have proof that they're 100% Democrat, correct?
I just have a brain and
Drop your link, nigga.
If
We
you
don't care
know
about
this,
your brain, nigga.
If you don't know this, then you're just an idiot. I mean,
Drop your
it's
link,
really
bro.
just
You don't
that
have no resources, bro. You're
It's
just
like
talking.
It's like me telling you to drop a link for 2 + 2 = 4.
So your common sense tell you that no Republicans participated with the KKK.
I'm telling you that the KKK at that time
was created by the
was part of the Democrat Party.
Okay, we agree.
Is that too hard for your brain to understand?
No. I said I agree.
Okay, and those KKK members that were Democrats. Okay, those KKK members that were Democrats. What were they? Were they black? Were they Mexicans? Were they white? What were they?
They were white Democrats.
Okay.
But see, this is the thing. This is the thing. It wasn't.
Same people.
It wasn't. It wasn't the. Like, I'm sure there were KKK members in that white mob, but this wasn't like predominantly the KKK. This was just white mad people.
White racist people who targeted the black community.
Yeah, but this wasn't necessarily the organization. This wasn't necessarily the organization that we would call the KKK. These were white. There was a white mob of people.
So the best. Hold on. The best. Let me offer a stat. The best stat we can offer is that when the Ku Klux Klan Act was passed, banning the Ku Klux Klan, it was in 1871. Ulysses S. Grant, a Republican, was in power, and Congress was controlled by Republicans. So we have evidence that at least at the time, laws were created by Republicans to ban the KKK.
It's just crazy to even.
And what was the race? Hold on. I got to ask you. What was the race of the people that banned the KKK?
Black.
Some were white and some were black.
Because
Grant was white.
Yeah, I mean, you got your good white man.
Hold on. Because the Republican Party at that time was mostly black.
Not mostly, some.
Mostly.
You would say mostly?
Yes.
Well, it's some.
And then that's where we get the guy with his famous quote. What is his quote? I forget his name. I'll have him voting Democrat. What's his name?
That's LBJ. LBJ years later.
Yeah,
that's in the
that is
1960s.
just wild.
Yeah, so that's the 1960s. But I was talking about 1870.
Yeah, and mostly other Republicans were black.
But not when LBJ said that. When LBJ said that.
So what point are you making? So you're saying black and white Republicans passed laws to stop the KKK, but at the same time, in your very weird brain, it was also Republicans that were burning down Tulsa.
I never said. I never said what type of white person was burning down Tulsa.
See, bro, Joel, you trying to link the burning of Tulsa to a political party, bro.
Because
like,
it's
not political.
This is basic history that every single person knows. Just because you don't know it,
I definitely know it.
Trying to change the narrative. This is just shit that everybody knows.
You still haven't like shared a book. Can we get a book, an Oxford Press book, something?
Listen, bro, we agree that the Democrat created the KKK, but
and we agree that the Republicans put laws in to ban it, right? And we agree that the Republicans put. Hold on, do that. And we agree that Republicans put laws in to ban the KKK and its actions.
Yes.
Cool.
It's just very weird watching people like.
No. Wait.
Trying to lie about
but
history.
You want us to believe that no white Republicans participated with the KKK? Is that what you're trying to get at? Is that your point?
I don't know. What we were saying? What 99% were Democrats? Okay.
No. Bro, it's simple what I'm asking you. Are you saying that no white Republicans?
I think only you
I have no idea. There's no way to to know
That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't there to ask every single person there. But if you have a brain and you can use like some
I'm
common
telling
sense,
people watching my videos or in my clubhouse rooms to report him so we can record him getting clipped in real time.
they were a lot more obvious with it back then.
I'm
So to
so
not
sick
think
of
that it was
Pepe.
them is just pure brain fucking retardation.
Well, my common sense tells me not to make a
mistake.
mistake. Okay, I get it. You don't think but my common sense tells
I'm
me
so
not
sick
to
of
make a
Pepe
statement,
telling me his race
right,
realist
that
speech.
would say 100% of the of the KK was Democrats. That's what my common sense tells me. Because I don't know. Right?
I never
That
said
would be
that.
me assuming.
I actually never said
You
that.
don't have
I
any
would
sources, Joel. You're just talking.
But Mike, you're retarded.
You don't have
so
any sources.
giving you a source
bro.
wouldn't help.
We're not asking you to. We just asking you to provide your sources, bro. I'm trying to have an intellectual conversation with you.
This
You
came
have no
from y'all.
sources,
Hold on, Mike. This came from y'all disputing that it was not Democrats that burnt down Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mean, that's where this went from, right? It was not white Democrats that burnt down Black Tulsa. That's y'all started the dispute of it.
So
That's what
No, it was KKK. And then you alluded to it had to have been Republicans in the KKK in Tulsa that did it, or there had to be at least one. Well, there's no way for any of us to prove.
Well, when they
Do
talk
you know
about the
who burned
Tulsa
down?
riots, they say it was a white mob. They don't say
This
it
is
was
what the
the
Coens have to
KKK.
do. They have
Well,
to
this
suck
is-
the Democrat dick and defend Masta. I get it.
No, this is what's happened to our history, is that our history's been washed from all the Democrats' fingerprints almost.
Well, no, it's just not into it. You guys are coming into this not from a scholarly place because we're asking for the history, and it can't be scrubbed from the internet.
Well, can I talk about it
Again, we
from
just
a
said that we cannot
present day
every
perspective?
Yes,
We just said that we
will
cannot
continue to talk about it. Go ahead.
ideology.
You don't want to hear Joel talking.
I think you have an agenda, but you're like intellectual.
Please allow Lovely to talk. We don't want to hear
provide facts
Joel.
to support your agenda.
And we allow the young
Use
lady
ad
to talk.
hominems and disrespect people, but you won't even get on the intellectual level and go get the data.
Hold on.
Because I'm not gonna tell somebody that I don't.
Shut the fuck up, Joel. Please don't want to hear you talk, please.
Yeah.
Let the young lady speak.
Lovely was speaking. You guys let the lady speak. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So like if we look at present day, I do think that the Republican Party is trying to help with the race thing. Because if you do look at it, like with the title, is it a race war? Is it a class war? When I analyze it, it's like, both the Black and white Americans have their struggles, and struggles that can be overcome. But what I noticed with the Black Americans is like the victim mentality that, honestly, they were taught by being taught slavery in the schools. And I know that probably a couple of you have heard that Florida got rid of that part of it, but I clearly understand why, like moving here. I just moved here, and a lot of the Black people, they motherfucking talk like they're in a slave movie. And I do think that mentality, like, is holding a lot of them back. But I just wanted to give like a 2025 perspective. I know you guys are talking about the history, past, whatever.
Thank you for your perspective.
So you're saying that learning about slavery caused Black people
don't
to...
do it, bro. Just hear it and just move the conversation, bro. Please.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, like if that is their identity that they're tied to, especially when they're younger, yes, it does kind of fuck them up.
Okay, thank you.
But wait a minute, you're not denying that, right? Like, if you're constantly told something bad happened to you, don't you kind of like have kind of a PTSD like around that or something? Like, Othello, what do you think about that? I mean, there is something to it. It's not just to laugh it off.
Can I? But can I say something to that real quick?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
okay, is there something to it? That shit happened 300 years ago or something, and since then, like, there have been thriving black communities. So it's like, what are the people that after these thriving black communities, why are they using slavery as an excuse to, you know, why as an obstacle, basically? It happened motherfucking 300 years ago.
You fishing, bro.
Because that's so much easier than saying I'm a fucking loser who hasn't accomplished anything in my life, and I don't want to self-reflect. So let me just say white people did slavery 300 years ago, and that's the reason for all my problems.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer. So there have been. I mean, we have a lot of successful black people, and we have a lot of successful black people that graduate from historically black colleges where, you know, we definitely learn the history. I went to one. We definitely learned the history of our people. But to say that it like affected our self-esteem so much to the fact that we don't, we don't know that we God's children. My grandma told me I'm God's child, and the church told me that too. So, learning about my history, I understood where I come from. I understood what my ancestors went through and why it's so important for me to take the opportunity that I have and to represent them and really be my ancestors' dream and go as far as I can go. So I'm not saying that every other black person will have the same esteem or have the same effect from learning their history. But I don't see how, the Jews, they always talk about their history. They always talk about what they went through. They became very successful. So I don't know. I don't know if you're efficient or what, but I can understand if you feel like that that's something that you just want to bypass so you can get on with your life. And I totally understand that.
I don't think either one of us are fishing. I actually don't know what that means. But I think it was a genuine question to the people who think that there needs to be a constant reminder that a certain